Hey, it's Friday, everybody. We'd invite you to come down to Independence Indoor Shooting Range here in Meridian. We have weapons, we have ammo, we have you. We would love for you to join us between now and 9 o'clock. We are so fired up to proudly support the Second Amendment. If you felt like your home, your life is an oasis under siege with people attacking the Second Amendment, well, you need to join us this morning in Independence Indoor Shooting. We're having a great time, and you're going to hear Fire on the Range coming up. And we're going to talk about firearm safety, we're going to be talking about school safety, and we're going to be talking to you at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Also coming up are candidates, and if you're a candidate running for office and you say to yourself, well, Kevin Miller, you won't let me on. Some of the races aren't as wide much of a funnel or attention-grabbing as others, so what we've said is, you want to come down, but you've got to shoot on the range. You've got to fire on the range before you come on the radio show. So we'll hopefully get some contenders. Speaking of contenders, joining us now is Congressman Labrador. He's running for governor. Congressman, good morning. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Kevin?
I'm well. Busy past few days for you. Certainly. Are you sad that the debate season's over, or would you like to have seen more?
I am not sad at all. I like debating. I like presenting my message to the people. But, debating is a little bit stressful as well. You have to prepare. You have to make sure you don't say anything that embarrasses you or your team. So I'm glad that we're done with the debate season. Now the next 2 weeks are all about closing the deal, going out and talking to people face to face. We're going to be traveling the state several times. We're going to be doing town halls. We're going to be doing meet and greets. We're doing ice cream socials, just doing everything we can to meet as many people as possible.
Boy, before we get rolling into the usual here at KIDO Talk Radio, what's it like being a grandfather?
It is the best, Kevin. In the most stressful part of this campaign, all I could think about was that I was going to become a grandfather. Then when that little baby girl came out, and I was able to just meet her and just hold her, it just brings so much joy and so much peace, and it helps you just forget about everything else. And just for that moment in your life, you're just in a blessed just state of mind. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that she's healthy. I'm grateful for my son and my daughter-in-law, and watching your son become a father. There are no words to express what joy that can bring. And that's one of the most amazing things I have experienced in my life.
Congressman Labrador joining us here at KIDO Talk Radio, talking about his campaign for governor. When you are with your family, does that reinforce the sacrifice of being on the trail, of giving up your seat, of running statewide?
It does. Being with the family, you realize these are things that the people you're doing it for. And it has been a sacrifice. I have missed a lot of the events that my children have been participating in, some of the sports, some of the activities, just so we can serve the people of Idaho. And it's been great to watch them get so excited about me running for governor, being so supportive of the things that we're doing, and so grateful for the sacrifice that we have made. My youngest son, in particular, he recently just said, thank you. I know that I've been attacked for missing some votes because I had to spend some time with him and spend some time with the kids. And he just thanked me for being a good dad. And he said, I will let anybody know that you have always been a good dad and that you have put our family first. So I'm grateful for them, but I know that I have missed out on a lot of their activities, and I'm really excited about coming back to the state, being here full time, so I can participate in their activities as well as serving the people of Idaho.
Congressman Labrador, let's look at some of the big issues. Obviously, education is a priority. You're a product of how education can elevate people. You're a champion of education. What's the state of Idaho education, sir?
There's two things that we have to think about when we think about Idaho education. The lies about Idaho being 49th in the United States should not be accepted. Idaho is 49th in spending, but they're not 49th in performance. We're about at the middle of the pack. So So the number one thing is that we're not 49. The bad thing is that we're not in the top 10. We should be in the top 10. We have great teachers, great administrators, great parents that are willing to sacrifice for the children in Idaho. And we have a lot of amazing teachers that shows that profession because they want to improve the lives of our kids. So what we need to do is we need to give them the flexibility that is necessary to do their job. We need to get rid of Common Core. We need to undo the regulations that are stifling the local districts from doing the work that they have to do. And we need to set really high standards for these kids. So because that's what I experienced in my life. When my mom put me in private schools, when she put me in schools that had high standards, I knew that I could achieve anything in life because I was able to meet those goals that I had in school. It's so important that we educate our kids well, that we give them the ability to be successful in life. You know, I think about the kids in Idaho. They're kids just like me who were raised in single-parent homes, who maybe believe that their future is going to be difficult. And I want every child to understand that their future can be bright, and we need to make sure as a government to give them meaningful opportunities after high school, that they understand that they can become anything they want to be, that they can go to college if they want to do that. They can acquire a trade, that they can learn to read and write and do the things that are going to make them successful. And we should do that all by the time that they graduate from high school. Every child should have an opportunity to either have enough credit for an associate's degree or to be able to get some sort of certificate in technical training so they can be successful in life.
Congressman Raul Labrador joining us here at KIDO Talk Radio. Just as we're dealing with folks that are going to eventually replace you, sir, you're going to replace Butch Otter if successful. You're a respectful person, but you've gone toe-to-toe with the Otter administration. Your thoughts on replacing the Otter administration and your unique style when it comes to your first 100 days?
You know, first, you have to give Butch Otter a lot of credit for being so approachable. I think he's one of the most approachable people in Idaho when it comes to politics. I think he's done a really good job with the capital for a day, and I praise him for that, and it's something that I want to continue as governor. But the reality is that I think he's had a hands-off approach when it comes to the cronyism that happens in Boise. And in the first 100 days of my administration, that cronyism is going to end. The governor's office and the lobbyists in Boise are no longer going to pick the winners and losers in Idaho. We're going to let the economy pick the winners and losers. We're going to have set the right policies so everyone can thrive, not just the select few are going to thrive, but every single person in Idaho can be successful if we have the right policies at the state level.
Well, and that's a tough call. As you've said, he's a very charismatic, approachable guy, but on the other hand, there have been, you've got the gladiator clubs in the prison, You've got the internet with the schools. There are a lot of things that have gone on during his watch.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I don't think Butch Otter has taken the time to manage the state as well as he could. Everybody agrees that he's charismatic, but I think he has sort of let other people determine the destiny of Idaho. And I want to make sure that I am hands-on in determining the future of Idaho, in making sure that the policies are the right policies for everyday Idahoans, in ensuring that everyone is being heard in the governor's office, ensuring that special interests are not getting their way all the time. And that can only be done with active management, with actually having a chief executive who cares about the policies that are coming out of the administration and that ensures that the administrative agencies are providing the right services to the people of Idaho. You can't just lay back and just be happy that you have a title as governor. You actually have to be the chief executive and do the hard work that people need to do in order to run the state in a better way and a stronger way. And that's why I believe that we're going to make Idaho stronger by making sure that we have the right leadership in the Capitol.
Speaking of leadership, you've had a chance to work with the president. You campaigned for the president. If elected, how will your relationship with the president help the state of Idaho, sir?
I think that's what makes me the most qualified to be governor of the state. Not only do I know how the state legislature works, because I worked in the state legislature and I know the legislative leaders and I can work with them, But as you know, we have a lot of issues that deal with the federal government here at the state level. I can pick up the phone and call the president and talk to him personally. I can pick up the phone and call the vice president and talk to him personally. I can talk to Ryan Zinke, the Secretary of Interior. Many of these people are my friends. They're people that I work with, that they know me. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had one of our constituents had a problem with the Department of Interior, with BLM, and other issues that they were dealing with. And I just approached Ryan Zinke, and I asked him to take care of it. And within a week, somebody from his administration was actually calling our constituent personally and ensuring that they were being heard. Those are things that are valuable for the people in the state of Idaho. These are things that we can work on a daily basis. And as you know, I went out and campaigned for the president. He wouldn't be in the White House if it weren't for people like me that went out of their way to ensure that he got elected. When some of my opponents, I had one opponent, Brad Little, who failed to do anything to help him during the campaign, and the other opponent, Tommy Alquist, who decided to vote against the president, and he wrote in Marco Rubio. The president will remember things like that, and I think that's why it's important that you have somebody like me in the governor's office.
Congressman Labrador joining us here at KIDO Talk Radio. A few more questions here as we roll along this morning. The BLM, the land issues, obviously, as a congressman, as a state representative, you have echoed the concerns of the ranchers, of the farmers, of the landowners here in the state of Idaho. If elected, what's the solution to the BLM, the feds, versus the folks here in Idaho, sir?
Well, one of the pieces of legislation that I passed that I'm most proud of is Grazing Improvement Act that actually reformed the grazing process on BLM land, and it helped a lot of the cattle owners and the people in our state who rely on some of our lands for grazing and other important issues. So that's something that we've already worked on a little bit, but my philosophy when it comes to land is pretty simple. The state does a better job than the federal government managing the land. I want to make sure that we have management of our federal lands by state agencies. I think we can do a better job. I don't want to transfer the ownership, but I want to transfer the management. And if you look at our state forests versus our federal forests, our state forests are healthier. They're more vibrant. We're able to take care of them better. And we're also able to allow multiple use. We have more access to the land, and we can use the natural resources. As the governor, I will continue to advocate for that. Right now, I'm one of 435 in the House. As governor, I will be one of 50, and I will be able to have an even stronger voice for the people of Idaho.
Congressman Labrador joining us here, running for governor at KIDO Talk Radio. I would believe managing growth, you see it all the time. Eagle Road, the city of Eagle, Nampa, Caldwell, not only here in the Treasure Valley, but throughout the state of Idaho. More people are moving in, farmland being replaced by subdivisions. What's the state's role? Is there a state role in managing growth? We see it in our schools around the Treasure Valley that are exploding with population. Is there a role for the chief executive to have a hands-on approach for growth?
There is actually, and the role is the kind of policies that we set forth at the state level, our economic policies. Right now, Idaho is making a huge mistake. Idaho is bringing new companies to the state, and they're offering tax incentives to those companies. Those companies come to the state, and they're paying lower taxes than everybody else, so they're not paying for their growth. That's why I advocate for everyone to get a tax break, not just a few preferred companies at the governor's office and the Commerce Department are determining that they should get those tax breaks. I want to get rid of those special loopholes and incentives, and I want to lower everybody's taxes. I want everyone to actually receive more money in their pockets. So that's why I have advocated for my 5-5-5 plan. 5% corporate, 5% individual, 5% sales tax. That will be a huge reduction in our taxes in the state of Idaho, and it will bring about economic growth. Then every company is paying their fair share. Every company is paying for their growth. Because, Kevin, guess who's paying for the growth if we're giving some companies tax breaks and other companies not?
That would be us.
It's the rest of us.
Yes, sir.
All of us are paying for those tax breaks, and the new companies are not paying for their growth. And I think if you have the right policy, then the growth will pay for itself. and the growth will be more organic, and that's what I think we want in the state.
Congressman Labrador joining us here at KIDO Talk Radio. Congressman, finally, we'll talk to you next week. We're going weekly till the end, and then after that as well, your thoughts to the people of Idaho that may not know you.
Well, just know that I have loved serving the people of Idaho. It's been one of the greatest honors of my life to be in Washington, D.C., and to serve in the legislature. I love what I'm doing. I have loved doing the service for the people. We have been able to help so many people in our congressional office through constituent services and other things where we actually give back to the community. And I'm looking forward to being the governor of the state. Just know that if you want somebody who will fight for you, and you want somebody that will put the people of Idaho first instead of the special interest, I have a 12-year record of making sure that I fight the establishment, I fight special interest groups, and I put the people of Idaho first. So I'm looking forward to serving you in this capacity.
Congressman Labrador, we appreciate it. Good luck on the trail, sir. Stay safe.
Hey, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir. And here we are at Independence Indoor Shooting in Meridian. Mike has already stopped by. We've got other folks here. We're going to talk to Wes. We're going to take your calls about the Second Amendment. We would love for you to join us. We're right off of Overland. If you're looking for us, we're over by Idaho Central Credit Union on Overland. Look for the big flagpole. We would love to see you here. We're going to be talking to a lot of folks and taking your calls as well. And again, you'll be hearing folks firing their weapons right here because we've got a mic on the range. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. I do want to remind you our Unity Breakfast will be at Terry's Cafe in Meridian. Join us for a breakfast of unity for all candidates of all political parties beginning May 17th, and then we'll have the Unity Rally downtown at the Capitol. We are looking forward to that. Of course, our primary coverage continues. We're going to speak to a lot of candidates, and if you're running for office and you are a fan of the Second Amendment, you're on the Second Amendment platform, we invite you to join us this morning here at Independence Indoor Shooting in Meridian. We are ready to go. We've got folks here already. We'll be here till 9. Come by, fire some weapons. We've got Wes and Steve joining us from American Reserve Munitions. I love, Wes, that you're logoed up this morning. That helps an old salt like me, Kevin Miller. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here, and thank you for providing our listeners some ammunition. Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about your company.
American Reserve Munitions, we've been in business for about 3 years. We've been producing ammunition out of Horseshoe Bend now for a little more than a year. Absolutely love to be in the Horseshoe Bend community. They've welcomed us with open arms. Good reception there, good people. Love to be there. All the main people of our company were born and raised right here in the Treasure Valley.
Sure.
And when things got tight on ammunition and getting supplies, we decided to see what we could do about that, and decided we could bring that production right here to Idaho.
That is outstanding. We're going to talk about what it's like to work in the Second Amendment industry in a minute, and to be a part of that and to employ people. Now, Steve, tell us about what you do besides firing the big rifle that is available now on our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter feed.
Well, I'm the bullet designer.
You're the bullet maker?
Well, designer.
Okay.
I designed the Predator line of bullets that we have. It's a lathe-turned, extremely accurate, long-range bullet. It's the only bullet that we've seen out there, or that the gentlemen at physicists at Aberdeen Proving Grounds have seen go through transonic through subsonic without any destabilization. So
and you're going to have to translate that for me because I'm already confused, sir.
As we travel from the bullet travels from hypersonic, 2,500, 3,000 feet per second down to around 1,100 feet per second. That's your transonic zone at the 1,100. Subsonic drops below that, down around 750. Normal everyday bullets will actually become destabilized within that zone, and they'll track off left, right, up, down. You can't determine where they're going to go, and this is the only one that will travel through that smooth and not even see it.
So what goes into designing a bullet? Isn't it just like again, I'm being overly simplistic, like how my mind works. Isn't it just like point and go or whatever?
Well, it seems like that's kind of the attitude, because our bullets haven't changed a whole bunch except for the boat tail and some of the nose-shaped portions since the Civil War when they came out with the maxi balls. So it's There's a lot more in that. You look at fluid dynamics, airflow around the bullet, and then off the tail section of the bullet. It's kind of like you would design the wing on an aircraft for a certain performance, whether it's slow flying or supersonic fast flying jets. You've got to try to mitigate that drag on the bullet and then the parasitical drag on the rear. So you have to change the measurements, you have to change the angles, add some things to it, like we added a sting to it that actually breaks up that parasitical drag. So it's a difficult process, and then you have to, of course, balance the bullet for flight characteristics and gyroscopic rotation.
I see. And we've got one right here. Is this correct?
That's correct.
For the our radio audience. But anyway, coming up, much more from Independence Indoor Shooting here at KIDO Talk Radio. Traffic and weather. And so, Wes, we do want people to come by and check out your ammunition that you so graciously supplied this morning. What type of weapons do we have here at Independence that people can fire this morning?
We brought in a .338 Lapua Magnum rifle that was made by Primary Weapon Systems, which are located also right here in Treasure Valley, one of our good friends. Come in and shoot that. We've got our Predator line of ammunition ready to go through that. And Stephen, don't be afraid of a big rifle. Stephen's here. He can walk you through all that. If you've never shot a rifle that big, it's not scary. Come on in and we can hook you up.
Great way to start the morning.
Yes,
great
absolutely.
way to start the morning indeed. So we've got that weapon now. Do we have some from Independence as well that we can? So any?
Yeah, we have their full stock of handguns and rifles, shotguns, whatever. We have a fully automatic belt-fed machine gun that can actually be fired this morning.
Really? We're going to do that? Boy, thank you guys. All right. Well, we're going to have to keep the promo team away from doing that one. Coming up next, we are going to continue our conversation. We'd love to hear from you at 580-5436. And by the way, look, it's Friday. Why not start your day off coming here to Independence Indoor Shooting and test firing a weapon? You can be like Mike. He brought his own weapons. He's back in the range. Coming up, you'll be hearing people fire, which is why we're here, and we would love for you to join us. Kevin Miller, Independence Indoor Shooting, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
The president is being welcomed back by the NRA, but some, like Terry Hubbard of Dayton, Ohio, don't think the president has been perfect in keeping his promise to protect the Second Amendment.
I think he's done all right. He's gotten a little bit wobbly on it, I think, in some ways. But overall, I mean, much better than if Hillary Clinton had gotten in.
Some say the president still has their overall trust, but didn't like hearing comments after the Parkland shooting about taking guns away from people before any due process. In Dallas, Eben Brown, Fox News.
And Kevin Miller in the morning from Independence Indoor Shooting. Coming up, we'll hear Wes on the range, and we've got Mike here, we've got Wes here, we've got Steve here. We're going to, we're inviting you to stop by and shoot this morning. I know it's early, but the sun is coming out. Why not stop by, fire a few rounds, and start your workday the right way? I do want to thank our friends here at Independence Indoor Shooting. And, Steve, once again, your company, you and Wes.
American Reserve Munitions.
Yeah, for donating the ammunition, because ammunition isn't cheap.
No, it is not.
It isn't cheap. And when we talk about being in the Second Amendment business, when we talk about a company out of Horseshoe Bend, tell us a little bit about the challenges of that.
Well, the challenge is you have a view of firearms weaponry as being a bad, guns are bad. We have to look at firearms as being sporting, for hunting, protection, and the American people have to look at it as this is something that takes a lot of responsibility, to own. We have the right through the Second Amendment to own it, but it's our responsibility to be trained, to be safe, to practice so we're proficient with it.
Indeed, of course, you have people debating that all the time, and it's wonderful that we have this facility here where you have the 100-yard indoor range. Now, if people go to our Facebook site or Instagram or what have you, they'll see you firing this rifle with the bullets that you've designed. Can you tell us a little bit about shooting at 100 yards indoor? What's that experience like?
It's a little louder than a guy would expect. I've shot here many times. But it's a great place to where you don't get any environmental impact on the strike your bullet, so you can really tune your rifle in, make it shoot the best that it can, and then take it out, to your range where you have wind, you have conditions that you have to adapt for. So it's a great place to practice. You don't get hot, you don't get cold. They have instructors here. They have people to help you out if you need help. It's a great place to shoot.
What people don't understand is, here at Independence Indoor Shooting, you do have a range officer, and you just it's not like you just go in and go crazy. There are procedures, designed for safety and, of course, the training, which you can get here and other places. What's it like working in the gun industry?
I love it. It's to me, it's. I've been around guns since I was a little kid. I've shot them since I was probably 5 years old.
Can you tell us what that is?
Sounds like Wes shooting.
Yeah, that's very good. And by the way, look, that's live fire on the range right now. Makes your heart pump up, doesn't it, when you hear that?
Oh, it does. It to me, there's no more fun than shooting. It's you build your skills. You have camaraderie. Go out with friends and shoot. You become more proficient, more accurate, and it's fun. Kids love it. I'm one of the assistant coaches for the Junior Precisionists of Idaho. We train young kids how to shoot, take them to long range, shooting competitions, and to see the joy in their eyes when they start hitting those targets that are 5, 6, 7, 800 yards out that's what makes me feel real good.
Indeed. Indeed. Steve, when we talk about Idaho's role in the firearm industry, firearm safety, where are we at as far as a state?
I think Idaho's role predominantly, we're towards the upper end of the Second Amendment, not movement, but protection. We have a lot of firearms industries moving in because of the way we look at guns, the way we look at the Second Amendment. We're bringing more companies like American Reserve Munitions. Nemo came here from Montana. It's a very, very friendly environment for the gun manufacturers, ammunition manufacturers. So I think it's a great place to put them.
Indeed. And, of course, we're hearing Wes back there. Anything else that you'd like to share? We'll be with you throughout the morning. We do appreciate you, and our apologies to your wife for sharing you with us this morning. But we appreciate you coming out today.
Well, I'd just like to invite everybody down to Independence this morning. Come on down and shoot some guns. If you want to need any information or help, with your rifle, ballistic information, we're more than happy to help you.
Indeed. Now, is that loud? Can people hear that? Because I'm half deaf, so I just want to know that. Can people hear the shooting and stuff?
They should. It's pretty loud.
Right. Hopefully we won't have to resort to the machine gun.
No, we will resort to the machine gun. That's guaranteed.
Steve, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. We'll hear you back again on the range.
Yep.
Thank you. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. We're here talking about the Second Amendment. We would love to take your calls on the matter at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We're here at Independence Indoor Shooting, and we expect to see a big crowd this morning, and we would love for you to hear Sound of Freedom. And again, this is the first time in the state of Idaho that you have a show live here on the indoor range. And, your thoughts, pro or con, we would love to hear from you. That's topic one at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Other big news of the day, you have people going on and on about Rudy Giuliani and the president, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You just have to wonder, can we get any business done? Here we have this historic deal with North and South Korea, and all people can seem to focus in on is what Rudy Giuliani said on the Sean Hannity show. Before that, though, let's get the latest on the Korean situation.
Things certainly are moving forward as South Korea's national security advisor is in Washington right now to meet with his counterpart, John Bolton, ahead of the president's summit with North Korea. But all eyes are on the possible release of those 3 Americans held in a North Korean labor camp following reports out of South Korea of a breakthrough. The State Department not confirming it. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders not confirming it, but adding this would be a positive step forward and a lot of goodwill if true.
I was listening to Morning Joe this morning before I came out. Morning Joe's a Libs show, and the Libs help wake me up. And they actually had a writer on named David Ignatius that was calling Kim Jong-un this distinguished leader. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy kills his own people. He killed his own brother. He's killed his own uncle. He's killed millions of people. And only in America could we have a progressive like David Ignatius try and give Kim credit for this peace process between President Trump and the North Koreans and the South Koreans. It's amazing that you have this type of hypocrisy. Thankfully, we live in Idaho, where we don't have a lot of David Ignatius-like thought. But come on, you're going to give Kim the benefit of the doubt? That's just crazy. Much more coming up from Independence Indoor Shooting. We would love to see you here. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. You know, it's always good to see our friend Two Fly Bry with us at Independence Indoor Shooting. The weapons are firing. We'd love to see it. Now, that's the sound of freedom so early in the morning here. Stop by and see us in Meridian here. We've got Art, who's going to teach us about the Second Amendment. We've got Steve from American Reserve Thank you, Wes. Help me with that, munitions. So I'm getting all nervous with this testosterone coming in here. So thank you all for joining us. They have donated the ammunition this morning. Now, website, people want to get a hold of you guys. What's your website here?
American Reserve Munitions, or armunitions.com.
All right, armunitions.com. And that's supporting a local company, correct?
Yeah, located in Horseshoe Bend, just off the highway at the old mill site, right in the middle of town.
Thank you. Now, Art, yes, don't distract Steve while he's trying to talk to Wes, who's trying to answer questions here. This is what we do each and every morning. You're seeing stuff behind the scenes.
Well, that's the way America works, isn't it?
Exactly.
It always happens behind the scenes.
All right, so if you want to come in and fire some weapons, just come on in, sign the waiver, and you're good to go. Let's go to Paris with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Paris.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great. What can we do for you this morning?
I got a couple of things. One, I just moved to Boise from Colorado, and one of the things that I really appreciate about Idaho is that you guys don't have any dumb capacity magazine laws here. So I can get whatever I want. I don't have to worry about it. I can just go down to my local gun store and get, 30-round D60s, whatever I want. So that's great. And then the other thing, too, is the other day I was sighting in a rifle at Independence, and, sighting it in on the indoor range with the lead sled was great and real easy. So, yeah.
Well, welcome to America.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And your weapon of choice?
What I've got right now is I've got an M1A and 308, but I'm building an AR right now. So.
Well, Steve, what do you make of that?
A great compilation of weapons. He covers every gamut.
Any ammunition you want to pitch to him?
The American Reserve Munitions is.
Do you guys make 8mm Mauser for cheap? Because I have a tough time feeding my K98.
Well, negative on that one, Ghost Rider. But Paris, stop by and see us, and thank you for waking up at KIDO Talk Radio this morning, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Two Fly Bryce here. He's ready to go. Let's grab the mic from here. Watch out there, Art. I'm going to let Brian talk. Are you gonna fire this morning?
Why not?
What are you gonna shoot this morning? Got a big variety for you. This guy would be perfect for your rifle here.
The rifle? I've got a challenge with that right now. I'm trying to resight my eyes. I've got progressive lenses which don't work well for rifles.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us here. We just want to know what you're going to shoot.
Well, that belt fed sounds really nice.
It would sound really nice this morning.
He's going to fire a belt fed, and he said his eyes are going bad?
Yes. George?
Well, I don't have to really point in just a general direction what all need to be done.
All right. Tell us why you love the Second Amendment. You're such a supporter.
It's just a sweet way of knowing that this is what freedom sounds like, is what it is. And it's what it feels like, and you know it. That's why I enjoy it very much. And it's not only that, it's also, the Third Amendment as well is awesome. I don't want the government coming and sleeping in my house with me. So
exactly.
And the Second Amendment keeps the Third Amendment from somebody coming in and taking over my bed.
Well, we appreciate you and giving us your status of your bed.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right. Now we want to hear from you firing the weapons here at Independence Indoor Shooting. So thank you, Two Fly Bry.
You're welcome.
All right. Appreciate you always supporting us.
You're welcome. And I'm here also to acquire a gun safe.
Really?
Yes.
Do we have any deals on gun safes here today, Independence? Well, we'll give you the Kevin Miller special.
Yeah, half off twice as. That's half off twice as much then.
Exactly. Traffic and weather together here.
The bottom line is you can keep raising the age of when to buy a firearm. What do you do? If it's 22, do you say raise it to 23? If it was 25, do you say raise it to 26? Evil exists in the world. You will never regulate it away.
All right, there we have it. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Our friends with American Reserve Munitions are here. We're at Independence Indoor Shooting. Kevin Miller in the morning, taking your calls about, well, anything to do with the Second Amendment. What you're hearing in the back is the indoor range being used right now. And we do want to thank our friends at American Reserve Munitions, a local Horseshoe Bend, Idaho company. They've donated the ammo, Independence Indoor Shooting. Again, crystal clear sound. Can you hear that, folks? Doesn't that make you want to come down here and hang out with us? Oh, I could go on and on. Art, you're joining us here. Your thoughts on the Second Amendment?
Well, I'm a student of history. The Second Amendment actually came into existence when the Founding Fathers were cogitating on how to put this together as a result of their experiences with the despotism of Europe. They knew how the king and the king's soldiers with all their guns would destroy lives. So one of the things they wanted to make sure is that every American citizen carried their weapons, and under no circumstances would there be any types of laws that would prevent that. The last four words of the Second Amendment are, shall not be infringed.
Right. We see that today.
We see it everywhere.
Hold your thoughts. Janice McGeehan joining us. All right, we'll see her next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, everybody.